Do you realize how important your small contribution is and how much you can really help? It's important that you learn what is happening in the world around you today and what children of your age are going through. Let's meet a girl from Ghana. Her name is Naomi. Naomi, can you tell us something about yourself, your life and your home?
I live in a small village 2 kilometers away from school. We are a big family, and yet our home is one room that we all share.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
In all, we are 7, 3 girls and 4 boys. This means we all sleep together in the same room. Sometimes we are more because when our cousins come to see us from a village some kilometers away, they stay overnight and they share our bedroom too.
How do you go to school?
All of us go to school every day on foot. However, it is not the first time we miss school. When it is our turn to go to the river to bring the water for the day, we are often home at midday, and that will be too late to go to school.
Can you tell us something about your school?
At our school, we learn several subjects, including maths, English, science, and other subjects. Each class has about 50 children and sometimes even more. Naturally, there will not be enough desks to sit on, and most of us sit on the floor. Most pupils cannot afford to buy copybooks, books, and pencils, and they have to make do with what they have. Despite these difficulties, all of us are keen to learn and build ourselves a better future. In this way, we can help our families better.
What do you do after school?
After school, we either help in the home or go to work in the fields nearby. Every Sunday, we go to Mass. The chapel is 4 hours away on foot, and this means 8 hours of walking every Sunday to hear Mass, rain or shine. Yet we are all eager to go to church every Sunday to hear Mass. The Mass takes about 3 hours because there will be a lot of singing and dancing in between. Mass is a happy celebration for us all, and none of us would want to leave and go back home.
Thank you, Naomi, for sharing your experience with us. Now, let us go to another continent, where we're going to meet another girl, a 14-year-old Indian girl called Sarita.
I am Sarita, and I live in a very old village which is visited daily by thousands of locals and tourists, all eager to see the Taj Mahal, which is a very large monument made out of marble. It also serves as tomb to the wife of one of the kings who lived there many years ago.
Can you tell us something about the day-to-day life of a little girl in your village?
I work 6 days a week in a house owned by foreigners. Every day, I work for 10 hours, and for all these hours, I am paid a few rupees a month. Still, I am happy I have some kind of job. Many are the families who are unemployed and often go hungry.
Do you have a big family?
We are a family of 10 children. The boys still go to school. How I wish that I too go to school to learn to read and to write, but I am told girls are expected to stay at home to help with the housework.
Can you tell us something about your dress?
Women and girls wear what is called a sari. This is a piece of satin 6 meters long, which we wrap around us. On our foreheads, we draw a red circle called a bindi. This red circle used to have many different meanings. However, nowadays it is used mainly because it is considered fashionable. Men wear trousers and a long shirt. Some wrap a piece of cloth round their head, which is called a turban. This can be of different shapes according to the religion they practice.
Thanks for this interesting information, but we must now move on as we have to travel quite a distance. Now we go to meet Wilner, a boy from Brazil. He's only 12, but lives in the streets like millions of other children in Brazil.
I was still a baby when my mother left home, leaving me with my father. Before my father passed away, he asked my uncle to take care of me. Unfortunately, my uncle sold me to a family who treated me worse than a slave. If I failed to understand what was expected of me, I was beaten savagely. I was beaten on the head, and my hands and on my legs, and often kicked too. You can still see the marks on my body.
And when you are not with this family?
I sleep in the marketplace in front of the church. When I wake up in the morning, I look for some water to wash my face and return to the marketplace to wait for the people to come. I go around begging for alms to have enough money to buy some food. During the day, I try to earn some money by washing the window panes of cars. I have to be careful, as it's not the first time other boys have attacked me and stole from me the little money I managed to earn. There comes days when I earn nothing and retire for the night on an empty stomach, having eaten nothing for a whole day.
Thanks, Wilna, for sharing these sad experiences with us. Let's now travel to North America, whose children lead a very different life from that of Wilna's. Hello, Sarah. We would very much appreciate it if you could tell us something about your life. At what time do you wake up, and how do you spend the day?
On school days, I wake up quite early, as I wake up at 6 every morning. While I wash, my mother prepares breakfast for me, which usually consists of cereal, toast, and a glass of warm milk. Then I hurry out in time to catch the school bus.
And then?
School starts with the daily assembly, followed by lessons. At 10, we have the break and I eat the lunch Mother had prepared for me. More lessons follow and school ends at 2 when I am driven home, where I find my mother waiting for me so that we can have lunch together.
And how do you spend the rest of the day?
After lunch, I throw myself on the sofa to watch some of my favorite television programs. Then I do my homework and the evening I spend it with my brother or my neighbors playing games. When it's time, I go to sleep in a cozy bed till morning.
How do you spend the weekend?
In the weekend, we sometimes go to the cinema or bowling with our parents. We also have plenty of games rooms. Sometimes we organize sleepovers at our friends' houses. Unfortunately, in the weekends, alcohol and drug abuse increase drastically. I pray that when I grow up, I stay away from such sad vices.
Thanks, Sarah, for telling us so much about yourself and your family. There is one other continent we have not been to, Australia. Have you ever heard anyone speaking about this great continent? For example, have you ever heard about a race of people in Australia called Aborigines? These too come across many social problems. Today, we're going to meet a boy who has lived among one of these tribes all his life. Paul, can you mention some of the difficulties you encounter in your everyday life?
Our continent is divided between Australia, New Zealand, and many small islands very distant from one another. I live on one of these islands. Our biggest problem is that we have so many different cultures and languages that it became impossible to communicate among us.
Do you go to school?
Yes, but I feel very awkward. Most do not welcome us among them and look down on our way of life. It is so difficult to live among them as you feel you are rejected, and they whisper stories about you behind your back.
Do you think this will have an influence on your future?
Yes, very much so. We have no proper schooling and finish without any school certificates, making it impossible for us to find a decent job. The result is that once we are unemployed and our education is very limited, we finish on the streets as thieves, and some of us resort to drugs for a living. Very often we are caught and thrown to prison. It is very easy to point fingers at such behavior, but no one understands that we need help because we faced a difficult childhood.
I hope that your future will be different from the one you described, and that with the help of these children, your situation will also improve. Now it's time to take a look at the remaining continent, Europe, where we'll be meeting Joseph, a boy from Gozo.
Hello, children. My life is more or less like yours. I thank the Lord that we Maltese and Gozitan children live a more stable and comfortable life, especially when we see how children in other continents live. We find churches wherever we go, schools, houses, toys, and everything we wish for. Also, many of us had the opportunity to travel and visit other beautiful countries in Europe. But apart from this in Europe, we have our problems too, because unfortunately, many have lost a very important value. They are abandoning Jesus and wasting their lives in vices such as alcohol and drugs. This is destroying marriages and families, so the innocent are suffering too. I hope that when we grow up, we do not imitate this behavior. Moreover, we should be of good examples and help others change their lives.
Thank you, Joseph. And now, after hearing all this, do you think it's fair that there are children who have no time to play and enjoy their childhood? Is it fair that there's no one to take care of them and love them? Of course not. Let's see how we can help these children so that their lives improve.